Well, there is a bundle or a huge bundle of excitement surrounding the entire Arsenal fraternity as the return of Gabriel Jesus is in full gear and is nearing. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. We are here to discuss the 4 players nominated for the Arsenal Player of the Month award of February. Talking about Odegaard, one of the best players at Arsenal this season. His stats have been revealed to us, and you're going to discuss a little bit about Odegaard. And lastly, there is Romeo Lavia, a 19-year-old central defense midfielder playing for Southampton that Arsenal are really trying to pursue and sign very, very soon. Welcome to the Arsenal News Show. This is Rokani David, and when you hear the Arsenal News Show, expect nothing else apart from Arsenal. We are doing Arsenal strictly, nothing tied to that. We've just done a sort of Makalo Modric coming from Chelsea. There is Bayern Munich, there's a World Cup. So we are trying to spice up these things because I believe that every football fan should be enjoying this channel and getting at least a snippet from where he or she really feels comfortable. But don't forget to subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more we grow huge in numbers, and we're on the road to hit 13,000 subscribers. And guys, you are really great, and I love you. Keep it up in here for you. Now, today, Arsenal has revealed or released a list of players that they thought that did well, and you, the fans of Arsenal, should go onto their website and vote for them into this mix. And guess what? The list has been put out, and the following players have been put onto this list. We are having Gabriel Jesus. To me, I think he doesn't deserve to be here. The other 3 are okay. Zinchenko deserves to be here. Jorginho deserves to be there. Saka, obviously, he deserves to be here. But when you look at Arsenal and how they played in February, I think they lost to Everton. They drew with Brentford. They are beaten by Manchester City, 3-1. Then they beat Aston Villa. They beat Leicester City. Not so? Yeah, they beat Leicester City over the weekend. Those are 5 games they played. And when was the game of Everton that Arsenal lost 1-0? But all in all, it shows you that Arsenal played close to 3 or 4 games, all 5 games in the month of February. But when you talk about Zinchenko, very good player, played well too. Jorginho played well. Bukayo Saka played well. But for Gabriel Jesus, I can't bring him anywhere close to this conversation. You know why? Because of what he did in the game of City. That was the most important game. It was the most important game. Every player that messed up that game shouldn't make the list of the best players of the month of February. I think Gabriel Jesus, to me, he has been looking solid after that game of Man City. But because that was the most important game, that was going to give a little bit of relief to Arsenal as far as leading the table is concerned, he bottled it up. He doesn't deserve to be here, according to me. He doesn't deserve to be here, but the rest are okay. So guys, go to the website of Arsenal and vote. Vote for who you think is supposed to be the Arsenal player for the month of February. So let's leave that at that. I thought that this was very important to really reveal to you, because you guys are always kept on this channel to know what the club of Arsenal is really going through, all it's all about. Now, there is the Arsenal former player. He's not a legend at Arsenal to me. Even at United, I support United, but he's not a legend. Mikel Sylvester. There is a website that he always works on as betting expert. He has today gone ahead and revealed about the return of Gabriel Jesus. News was reported on Monday that Gabriel Jesus is back in full Arsenal training. And I've seen other people coming out and saying he's not back in full Arsenal training, but he was standing behind Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka and the clique are the first team players of Arsenal. If at all he was training alone, he wouldn't have been in those photos. The fact is, Jesus is training with Arsenal. That's it. He's training, though they don't want to unleash him now. They want to unleash him best time, and his return has really sent a lot of excitement into the hearts of Arsenal fans because this is their best player. This is their best player. And minus him, Odegaard comes in through, Saka comes in through, Zinchenko comes in through, Saliba comes in through, Jorginho comes in through, you get, Martinelli comes in through. But the best player at Arsenal is Gabriel Jesus, and whenever he's playing, Arsenal is no longer the same. It just goes to a next level of performing and scoring goals left, right, and center. Now, Mikel Silvestre, formerly of Manchester United and Arsenal, he said the following about the return of Gabriel Jesus, that Jesus was missed for sure, and I think the team coped well without him. The fact that he's coming back in the final stages of the competition brings confidence into the squad. Obviously. And, you know, I've been trying to ask myself, why is it that when Jesus was not nearing return and not back in Arsenal training, Nketiah was really scoring goals? When Jesus returned and started training with the first team of Arsenal, do you know what happened? He just found himself not being able to score goals. So, I think the pressure has really accumulated a lot onto Eddie Nketiah. The pressure is really too much for him to handle, and that's why the manager has really opted for Trossard to lead the line while exchanging that role with Gabriel Martinelli. So the return of Gabriel Jesus is near, and it has really sent a message to those players in the club of Arsenal that is positive. But one player that has gotten a negative message, and obviously the impact is negative, that is Eddie Nketiah. You know, there are players who are really good at playing when they feel like they are the number nines. They are not feeling pressure. You get? So, Nketiah is not that kind of player who can really play under pressure. You remember when Aubameyang was at Arsenal, Lacazette at Arsenal, Nketiah was not scoring goals, even when he got chances. I remember the game when Arsenal was beaten by Everton 2-1. I think Damian Gray scored the winner and Richarlison scored the goal that put them ahead. This man, Nketiah, got a goal to beat chance, and he headed that ball onto the near post or to the bottom post. But that was because of the pressure that he was brought on when the bench had Aubameyang and Lacazette. He led the line when Aubameyang was on the bench. So every time he's having pressure on him, he doesn't perform. That's it. But the other members of the squad have gone ahead to perceive it positively, and they are really trying to see how good he's going to get and become for the club of Arsenal. Then Mikel Silvestre has gone ahead and really said the following. He has said, Jesus settled in a fast manner at Arsenal, forming connections with his teammates. It's a big plus at the moment. Critical time with 3 months left for Premier League table. It will be very positive for Arsenal when he's back. And these are all signs that show how Arsenal is one of those teams that are going to win the Premier League. Why? In scenarios like this, if Arsenal was not really going to win the Premier League, they would have gone ahead to crumble in the absentia of Gabriel Jesus. But they fought a lot. They've lost 2 games and drawn 2 out of the many they've played ever since we came from the World Cup. And Jesus has found them at a very good period when they are 5 points ahead of City. Now, we look at the next games they're going to play. They're going to play against Bournemouth and Fulham. So, my mind tells me Bournemouth is going to be the last game that Arsenal is going to play without Gabriel Jesus. And I believe that game of Fulham, Jesus is going to be available. It's going to be one of those tricky games that Arsenal will need Gabriel Jesus. But I told you that they can beat Leicester, they can beat Bournemouth, they can beat Everton without Gabriel Jesus. But this time around, that game of Fulham is really going to require a lot of energy and technicality. This is where I believe Jesus will be back onto the bench of Arsenal, and he might come on through and really make his return debut from injury. And talking of his positive return to back up the club, obviously you can't underestimate the potential and what he adds onto this Arsenal side. He's really a very good player. He's a fighter and he never gives up. He keeps fighting until the last whistle. That is one of the things that Arsenal are really missing out of him. The way he presses up front, the way he runs in the midfield, he comes to defend. He's everywhere on the pitch. He's one of those players that you wouldn't like to see a team called Arsenal miss in any period. And I believe if at all he was here, Arsenal would have stretched to like 10-12 points ahead of City. They wouldn't have lost against Everton. They wouldn't have drawn against Newcastle. They wouldn't have drawn against Brentford. And they wouldn't have lost to Manchester City. You get? Because in all those 4 games, they've seen themselves lose 6 points in losses and 4 points in draws. Those are 10 points. I believe if at all he was here, Arsenal at least would have lost like 5 and added 5 onto its fixture. Meaning that right now, they would have been 10 points ahead of City. So, they would have lost 1 game and maybe drawn 2 and won the rest of the games. That's it, because those are 4 games. Those are 12 points. You get? When you lose 2, that means you're left with 6 points. You get? You draw the other game, 5. So, it shows you that they have the potential to do the needful, and Jesus is back, and the excitement is all over all amongst Arsenal fans because they know how good this player is. With the likes of Partey back, Emile Smith throwaway, all these are signs that Arsenal is going to win the trophy. Trust me, there are games that all Arsenal players are going to fail to deliver, and Emile Smith will come in through and score. Sometimes Partey will score, Jesus will score. So getting Jesus back, Thomas Partey back, Emile Smith Rowe back, all those are signals that Arsenal is really going to win the Premier League trophy. And all those players are playing a huge role into that team. Now, leaving that at that, let's talk about the 19-year-old Southampton central defensive midfielder known as Romeo Lavia. Arsenal are understood to have shown interest in 19-year-old Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia. Man City have a buyback clause worth around £40 million, though it is an option that cannot be triggered until next summer. So, Lavia. 19 years of age. I've seen him play at Southampton. He's a very good player, and I think Mikel Arteta has an eye of good players. I think he has now gotten to know that the deal of Sambi Lokonga might have gone the wrong way and never went through as wanted. And going in for Lavia just shows you that he's ready to get rid of a player known as Albert Sambi Lokonga. Reason being, this one is 19, already playing the Premier League proven, and doing the needful. And Adrian Kajumba, a correspondent for the Daily Mail, has brought us that story. Now, that boils out into very many occasions, into very many reasons that are really going to help this deal go on. Amidst Arsenal wanting this player known as Lavia, the player might find himself out of a move. Southampton, especially as far as Arsenal is concerned, because if Albert Sambi Lokonga goes ahead and really plays well at Crystal Palace, then it will be hard for him to come in through and really find himself leaving Arsenal. If he doesn't perform well, then he will be so. Looks like Patrick Vieira is an admirer of Albert Sambi Lokonga, and he's willing to cash in for him if at all Arsenal are really willing to sell the player. So let's wait and see how that's going to happen. But Arsenal faces competition from Manchester United on this Lavia player. And I think Man City knows it, that they cannot allow a player go to Arsenal and go to Manchester United. They know how good Jesus and Zinchenko have gone ahead to improve Arsenal. And I've always read stories that Pep Guardiola was questioned on how he let these two players move to Arsenal. The reason as to why he's being questioned is simple, because Arsenal is really leading the table, 5 points ahead of them. And trust me, Zinchenko, Jesus are the reason as to why Arsenal is leading the table. Do you know why? Zinchenko, after the game of Manchester United, that they won 3-2 at Emirates, he came out loud and told us that when he arrived at City, he told the players, we're not going in for top 4, we are going in for the trophy, and he believes they're going in for the trophy. So I believe Lavia to Arsenal, Man City know how good this player is. they will fail that deal. They will fail that deal. Or they will rather buy him back and loan him to another club, but not going to Manchester United and Arsenal, because those two teams are really interested in the player. That is Manchester United and Arsenal. They are the most two teams that are really interested in signing Lavia right about now, from a side known as Southampton to a side known as Arsenal and or Manchester United. Sorry about that. But Martin Odegaard is one of the best performing players at Arsenal. No player at Arsenal this season has really covered more distance than this guy. He's all over the pitch. And Arteta has always told them that if at all you are to beat a team, you need to run more than that team. Now, he has 9 goals in the Premier League. He's ranked 10th. Assists, he has 6. He's ranked 4th. That means he's having 15 goal involvements. And out of the 25 games they've played, he has only missed only 1 game of Arsenal, meaning that has played 24 games with 15 goal involvements. Very good for a central attacking midfielder like Martin Odegaard. Chances created 56. He's ranked 4th. Passes completed in final third 403. Second, that's what he's ranked. Oh, that's his ranking. Possessions won in the final third 33. That is Martin Odegaard for you. And yesterday he got himself on the target and celebrated as he really did that Gabriel Jesus known celebration of a phone call. You know that very well. Now, as it stands, this guy Odegaard is really one of those players that are going to have to play very well. Though I believe even if Arsenal wins the trophy, the Premier League will choose Bukayo Saka over Odegaard as the best player of Arsenal, or the Premier League best player. But I believe Odegaard is one of those best players next to people like Jesus. And I think Nketiah comes like third or fourth according to me. It doesn't even come third. There is Partey, there is Jorginho, there is Saliba. You get those players, Zinchenko. They are really more influential on the field of play than those. So thank you very much for watching through your thoughts onto Gabriel Jesus' return excitement in full gear. A welcome in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts about Martin Odegaard and his performances this season. Then Lavia, would you love him at Arsenal? He's a CDM and Arsenal really looking in for CDM. I sign out for now. See you later, my lovely mates.